Senate Bill 197, the Star Bond Bill, and I believe we only have a few more amendments left on this. And we'll make quick work of this, I had a really good friend named Diane Poston that passed away a couple weeks ago, and her funeral is right now, so I'd like to get out of here as soon as possible. All right, so any further discussion on Senate Bill 197? I do have an amendment on behalf of my good friend Senator Haley. And this is giving Wyandotte the authority to form a port authority, which they had, but I think it expired. They had it at one point. He had a resolution that passed through the Senate last year, unanimously came to the House, and it was held up in the House. And this was just something I told him I'd do for him. And so I'll let Charles explain if there's any more explanation needed to be done. But basically, it changes right now, to get port authority, you've got to pass a resolution. This says resolution or a bill, and then it puts it in a bill format into the Star Bond bill. Charles Reimer.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, that covers it. Just we'll be adding a statute to the bill. There'll need to be some amendments to the title, and we're just going to change that statute. The statute pertains to port authorities. And as the chairman indicated, currently it requires a joint resolution. We're changing that to a bill, also a bill, so alternatively a bill, and making some other changes to the statute. But the primary change is what the chairman just mentioned.
Is there any discussion on the Port Authority? All right, seeing none, can I get a second on the motion? Seconded by Representative Ward. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against, say no. Motion passes. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have two very short amendments. You could pass them out. Both of them, because I think I'm happy to take each little piece, but it's short, and I think it will not be difficult.
Representative, will you explain what you're attempting to do?
Sure. While he's passing that, Charles, did you put all those items you listed into this one, or?
Revisor Reimer.
Thank you, Chairman. So
I think you did.
the sheet with has the large box only has the one change from shall to may. Other changes are on the other sheet that was passed out that has text in blue.
I didn't get that sheet. That's why I asked.
Maybe I'm colorblind. I don't
Okay, all right, that makes sense. I was like, whoa.
Something happened to me.
Okay, so while we're passing these out, you can actually put them side by side, and I think that'll be helpful if Mr. Chairman will make sure and assist me that I am covering it correctly. We did discuss this. So if you look at the balloon with the red, one item's changed, and this is related to the State Finance Council. The State Finance Council is not approving projects, but they can override a project. So the shall was changed to may. And what happens is the secretary does notify the State Finance Council that an approval is imminent, lets them know they can choose whether or not to call a meeting. If they do call a meeting, they can go into executive session per Open Meetings Act and discuss it. And the secretary can provide any information in that manner that they're able to provide. Obviously, they will withhold information that they cannot share. They have 30 days to do that. So that's that piece there. It's just giving it's kind of like a veto authority. And they have to have the majority in order to make that possible. That's one piece of it. Should I stop there, Mr. Chair?
Yes, let's section that out and just vote on that one part. So this is just basically veto authority for the Finance Council should the chairperson disagree with the project.
I do have a question for the chair, for Charles. Charles, currently our State Finance Council, the governor has veto authority of decisions that are made by the State Finance Council. Is that correct?
Representative Williams, I would need to check the statute on that. I do know that the governor, as a chairperson of the State Finance Council, has the authority to call meetings. So, but that's already in the amendment.
I think she does, but I think, that would be something we could double check, and you could, if there was any error, you could remove at conference. But why that's relevant is because this is written so that by a majority, if they wanted to veto, or if you will, that's not the terminology, but not accept a star bonds, I think that would still apply, even though the governor typically, and Mr. Chairman, thoughts?
Okay, so your intent is to have the chairperson call a meeting, and if the vote is a majority vote is taken, that they should prevail?
Well, my intent is that a meeting can be called. The chairperson of the State Financial can call a meeting. So if there's an imminent star bonds project and they have a concern and they want to review it, if it's a controversial project, then they could call the meeting. If they do not call the meeting, then within 30 days, it's approved by the secretary. No problem. But if they do call the meeting, they can go into executive session to ask questions about the star bond project, and they can take a vote. If they take a vote and the majority determines not to move forward with the project, then that stands, and they shall not go into an agreement.
Reviser Remmer.
So I don't have anything to add to Representative Williams' discussion of this, except I did want to point out to the committee that this is a portion of the amended version of the bill, the large balloon that the committee passed out, or not passed out, that the committee approved yesterday. So, the bill hasn't been passed out, but this is a portion of the amendment that was approved. The committee struck the last paragraph in this big balloon, paragraph number 2, pertaining to the personal guarantee of the developer. So I just wanted to just point that out to the committee, that we are discussing essentially an amendment to an amendment that was approved.
Thank you, Representative Williams.
Well, thank you for that clarification. I don't think we ever discussed that portion, so if it was already approved, that's fine. No actions needed. In the last part, we can just move on to the other, and if there's an issue with that later, then in conference you can correct it. Is that all right, Mr. Chair?
Let's go ahead and vote on this, because it may not have been voted on. This section may not have been discussed yesterday and accidentally passed. So let's
what I think. I think that's what
Let's do
happened.
that. So any further discussion on the number 2 in this box? All right, seeing none, I need a second on the amendment. Representative Wassinger, all in favor, say aye. All against, say no.
No.
Motion appears to pass. Motion does pass. All right, moving on to the second portion of her amendment. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Per the comments that were made in this committee and your concerns about the last item in that balloon, there's different language, and it is in blue. But I will note that the only piece we would like in that, Charles, is though I actually love the way you have it written, the only piece that I think the chairman would like to maintain is that they don't have to pay any of that missing gap. They do not have to pay it. That is not the only thing, the only penalty they get is that they are not able to move forward with another project. So after 3 years' time, after the district opens, the attraction opens. So it may take 4 years to build and then 3 years for it to open. After that period, then they do the counts. The secretary looks at the 30 and 20%. If they haven't met that at that time, then they're not going to be approved. They cannot ask to be approved for another project. And I will ask the chairman if that is the way that we had discussed it.
So committee, if you recall yesterday, we were talking about the penalty of having to pay back the state portion of the sales tax. This removes that. Some of us thought it was a good idea to make it so that someone that has taken advantage of the program or miscalculated the tourism aspect to not be awarded another Star Bond project until that was proven out. And so that's what this does, is the way I understand it. Is that right, Charles?
Yes.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, with that motion, you'll see in the blue, the C, the secretary shall include the secretary's annual report to the legislature information regarding compliance by projects with the visitor origin requirements and by primary or master developers with the requirements of this paragraph. So if a project has a master developer that does not meet those criteria, then it would be included in the report.
Charles, I have a question on the wording in the amendment. Is this amendment only on new projects going forward?
Yes, so if the committee wanted, I could make that specific, but as it's written, it would be apply from July 1st, 2025 on, but it would apply to all projects after that time. Although, you know, the language is after creation of the district, so, you know, if we wanted to make it clear that it just applies to districts created after July 1, 2025, we could do that.
That was your intent, right, Representative?
Yes, prospective. And I would also add, and I don't see that language in there, but this is very important, that the secretary shall have discretion, but as long as that's transparent and in the report, if there was an incident where the numbers were incredibly inflated, it's World Cup, or they were incredibly low because of COVID or natural disaster, then that gives the secretary discretion. They just have to be transparent about it when they report those numbers. Actually, the reality is if it were a World Cup, they would still get it. They'd be fine. But if it were the opposite, discretion is available.
So new projects only and discretion for the secretary. Any other discussion on this amendment? All right, seeing none, I need a second for the amendment. Representative Wassinger, all in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. All against, say no. Motion passes. anyone else have any more amendments? Okay, seeing none, we need to give the reviser discretion to clean things up because this is a train wreck of a bill after all these amendments. So I'm going to make a motion to give the reviser discretion, seconded by Representative Penn. All in favor, say aye. All against, say no. Motion passes, and we are done discussing. We need a motion to pass the bill as amended. Vice Chair Turk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move substitute for Senate Bill number 197 be passed out favorably as amended.
Hang on. Hold on. Wait a minute. I apologize. I did have one more amendment. Jeez. All right, so.
I withdraw my motion.
And here, I want to change the sunset date on this thing to 5 years rather than the 3. You saw what happened this time. This committee can't get bogged down every couple of years on this subject. If there's something major needs to be added to the bill, we can do it. We can do that, but there's no reason just to look at this. We all understand what star bonds are, and we all have, I think we've made a lot of progress on the bill to put some good guardrails on it. And so I want to make a motion to make the sunset, what is it at right now, Charles?
Currently, the act would terminate on July 1st, 2026, and this bill extends it to July 1st, 2028.
So if we extended it by 5 years, that would be 2030 or 2031?
So 5 years from 26 would be 34.
Okay, let's go with that. Seconded by Representative Penn. Any discussion on the sunset date? Representative Sutton, nothing sunsets in the state of Kansas. All right, all in favor, say aye. All against, say no. Motion passes. Okay, now, Representative Turk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move substitute for Senate Bill number 197 be passed out favorably as amended.
Seconded by Representative Ward. All in favor of passage as amended, say aye. Aye. All against, say no. Motion passes. Would you like your no vote recorded?
No.
Okay. All right, so, okay, Monday and Tuesday, we will plan to meet. I have not sent out an agenda because it's just working on bills previously discussed, and we plan to have a solution on the daycare bill and also the sports grant bill. So that's my intention. Hopefully we can get them all done on Monday. If not, we'll be here Tuesday as well. We're adjourned. Have a great weekend. Thanks.